You don't miss your ex in the way that you think you do. If someone treated you badly, then it's not logical that you'd be missing them. Why would you be thinking about them? This is where a lot of people actually get confused and then they start questioning themselves. Did I overreact? Are they my soulmate? Should we still be together? Just because you're missing your ex, it doesn't mean that you are right for each other or that you're meant to be together. The reason is to do with your mind, your body, and your attachment style. If you're new here, my name's Rita and welcome to Empowered Love Within. So on this channel, I help you with healing, building up your self-worth and breaking toxic relationship patterns. So if you like that type of content, hit the subscribe button. And I also want you to check out the description box where you can take my free quiz to find out more about your attachment style in relationships. So you're sitting here and you're asking yourself, why am I missing this ex of mine when they treated me so badly? Well, the first thing I want you to know is that you're not actually missing them. What you're actually missing is the way that they made you feel. So when you were together, even if it was just at the beginning of the relationship, being in that relationship would have made you feel chosen, loved, wanted. And those are the feelings that you're actually missing. And you know what? I get it because I've been in that situation. Your identity just gets tied up in that relationship and in that person. And when they're not there anymore, you feel lost and you feel empty. So it's completely understandable that you feel that way. You're missing your ex because you're grieving the future that you created in your mind. Maybe marriage, living together, children. And when that's gone, you're still fantasizing about what that life would have been. And remember this, your brain finds it really hard to distinguish between a real event and an imagined event. So your brain is treating it as a real loss, and that's why it hurts so deeply. One of the key things that you need to understand is that when you're in a relationship that's quite intense, your body and your brain gets used to that. Understand that you're in a state of withdrawal, a similar state that someone would be in if they were on some type of substance. You're experiencing withdrawal symptoms, and that feels quite intense. If you want to find out more about why a trauma-bonded toxic relationship can feel so addictive, I've actually done a video called Why Toxic Relationships Feel Like an Addiction. So I'll link that in the description box because that will give you more of an understanding as to why your body experiences those intense withdrawal symptoms. One of the things that will hit you even deeper is if the relationship was actually inconsistent, where sometimes the relationship was really bad and then other times they treated you amazingly. That inconsistency and those highs and lows creates a strong emotional attachment. And when you're out of that relationship, your body is literally craving for those highs. But the key thing that you've got to remember is that scenario is not love. It's negative conditioning. So your brain is actually remembering in a very selective way. So it's focusing on the happy times in the relationship, the connection, the chemistry, the intimacy that you shared together, but it's actually minimizing the hurt that you experienced. But the trouble is, when your mind is operating in that illusion, it's not real. You start to have these thoughts where you start to actually believe it wasn't all that bad, but you're not remembering the relationship as it truly was. You're remembering an ideal that just isn't true. One of the major things that's so important when you're trying to work out why am I missing my ex when they treated me so badly is you need to understand the role that your nervous system plays in all of this. Your nervous system is wired for familiarity because familiarity makes you feel safe. Even though that situation was negative, the fact is it's familiar to you. And when that familiarity is gone, you will feel out of sorts. You're really trying hard to get back to that state of familiarity, even though it's negative. When you were in that relationship, you became very emotionally dependent on that person. And when that relationship ends, you feel like that emotional stability is gone. And underneath all of that, when we drill down, there's often a fear of being alone, a fear of feeling like, will I ever have that connection again? And those fears are what often makes you want to cling to that person. It makes you miss them, even though you know they weren't right for you, because at least then I won't be all on my own. Often when a relationship is not moving in the direction that you want it to, it's really common to become attached to the person who you want your partner to be rather than the person who they actually are. A lot of people find it much more comfortable to just remain in that state of focusing on a potential person. And when you do that, that will make you miss your ex so much, even though you know that they weren't right for you. If the relationship ended, say, quite abruptly, or there were lots of unanswered questions, that can leave you feeling like there's no closure. And that lack of closure to the situation is definitely something that will keep you in that loop where you're missing your ex. Your brain is replaying this loop as to what happened, why did it happen, to be able to move forward. Also remember that watching this video is great, but what's even better is taking action. So if you're ready to move forward and break out of a toxic relationship, then check out my Attachment Reset Toolkit, link in the description. It's so important for you to understand that just because you're missing your ex, it doesn't mean that they were right for you. You're missing them because your brain got used to them, your body got attached to them, and your mind is creating an idea about them which isn't really true. There's a deep emotional attachment there. And that's why it can feel so difficult to move on. If you want me to cover this topic in another video as to how to actually stop missing your ex, then comment below stop and I will cover that off in the next video. If you're trying to understand your patterns when it comes to relationships, check out the description box to take my free attachment style quiz. And if you're actually ready to detach and move on from a trauma bonded relationship, check out the description box for my Attachment Reset Toolkit. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.